Teach me thy path, lead me in the truth, and teach me. For thou art the God of my salvation. On thee do I wait all the day. Yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Amen.
Oh! Hey, yo, the sun never shines here. Man, it's dark all the time here. No law, justice is blind here. It's just criminals and crime here. Evil prevails here.
Hey, appreciate that. Welcome to another episode of ManPower. I'm your host, Dr. Sausage, and that was 985 Dreezy featuring Eric Butler. The song is called Welcome to Hell. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in because I know everyone's time is precious. Today's episode is called Boys Are Human Beings. And I named this episode Boys Are Human Beings because I think this is another subject that we have to really pay attention to. You hear so many times people say, that little nigga all right, that little nigga gonna be okay, get up little nigga, all this kind of stuff, you know, all of this negative, tough talk to a baby, to a child. And I want to shine a little spotlight on it here today in hopes that it can be shamed into stopping, because, you know, you're talking to a child, you're talking to a little baby. And if you're talking to a girl like that, Lord, please stop. But, you know, we see it with people talking to the male children this way. And we understand that this is a form of verbal abuse. This is also neglect, and it's in the highest form, and it's done in an open manner to almost make the child feel like that this is normal and what it's supposed to be subject to. Okay? And little boys are human beings, and we have to, I'm not with the feminizing of them, but what I am talking about is we don't have to be destructive toward them just because we're not feminizing them either. We don't have to go to either extreme, okay? And I know some people would, you know, immediately try to jump there so that they can distort things and prevent any type of progress from happening. Those type of people, we understand what their motivation is, okay? I'm excited about today's show because I'm gonna cover some topics that I know are near and dear to the way we are treating our little male children. And I'm not talking about the little boys who have a father that's doting on him, that's congratulating him, that's doing all of the positive things that I say are supposed to be happening. I'm speaking about the ones who are being raised by mothers, all right? Because that is the greatest form of abuse that we see happening directly in front of us. And the most important thing, and I'm gonna cover it a little bit later in the show as well, is it goes against the Father Jehovah's wishes. The Father Jehovah did not intend for the ladies to be raising the boys. So it doesn't matter how the government, the Attorney General, the Child Support Court, Family Court, any of these people try to spin it and put this responsibility on mothers. They can come with their nature and nurture and all of the other bull crap that they like to come up with so that ultimately they can go against his will and do the opposite. And you have to decide that you're going to follow and do his will, because that's the only option that we were given. We were not given the power to choose right and wrong. We were given the power to do his will. Okay? That's it. So we understand that when the ladies are allowed to raise the boys, it doesn't matter if this lady turned out a LeBron James, all right, and he's successful according to man's standards. It's not done according to his will. If it's not, he's not pleased with it. Okay? So we have to get back to the basics. All right, this is another thing that they have done to try and slip in and make themselves relevant. Like, oh, this is where the creator made a mistake. So this is where the creator needed some help. So we're going to ingest this in so that we can make society better. No, they ingested this in so that they can corrupt society. They ingested this in making mothers the head of the household and then incentivizing it so that they could turn their back on the mental health system in this country. All legitimate medical bodies, all legitimate mental health bodies will tell you that if you allow the fathers to be the primary custodial parent for the children, that a lot of the mental health problems we have in this country would plummet. Okay? Let me tell you something. Teenage suicide would plummet because fathers are the suicide prevention cure. Fathers are the teenage pregnancy cure. Okay? We are the answers to that problem. And those problems and many more will continue to persist as long as us men allow the government to strike fear in us to the manner where we're afraid of his courts, we're afraid of his dirty ass judges, we're afraid of his rules, his regulations, and his guidelines. We're afraid of his guns, we're afraid of his jails, we're afraid of him taking our money. So we're so afraid of all of these things and so much more that he can do to us that we just comply and allow him to steal our babies. Come on, fellas. Come on, man. This is the civil rights issue of our time. This is the great injustice that is happening to fathers all over the United States of America. This is our rally call. This is our rally cry. And what we're going to say is we are not going to work. We're not going to turn on the water. We're not going to turn on the electricity. We're not going to the sewers. We're not flying the planes. We're not doing anything. You understand me? If we are good enough to go and fight and die for our country, if we are good enough to do all of the dirty, hard jobs, and we're good enough to build society, then we are good enough to be fathers to our sons and raise our sons. And so we want first custodial right of parenthood. You understand? And that means that when a man and a woman separate, the male child automatically goes with the father. And in some cases, the female child as well. Okay? We have to get back to promoting a male-dominated society. We have to fight for marriage. We have to fight for the thing that have been taken away from us so long ago that now we're just completely unaware of it. So you'll have a man focused on driving that 18-wheeler, to do good for his family. You have another man focused on getting them power lines up every day, working in the rain, working in natural disasters and all kind of thing to rescue lives and stuff like that. But yet we aren't good enough to raise our sons. And these men will stay so distracted until the whole time they playing this role that's been given to them by society, which is be a strong man, take care of your family financially. This is why you're never in the home. This is why you're always gone. All right. And so you miss out on the greatest thing in life because you're busy accomplishing a goal, this fictitious goal that society has set for you. We have to do a redress. And we have to say we want to revisit this custody thing. You understand me? And we want it to be understood that if men are raising the boys, we will have a much better society. We would have a much better group of people in America. Okay? We would have to acknowledge how mental health would, not be as prevalent. The problems that it is would not be as prevalent as it is today. And it can go down if we start to do the right thing. Now, listen. It is very, very, very important to little boys that their birthday is remembered. Okay? And it's important that their father remember their birthday. Okay, you don't want to start a tradition of this young person feeling a special day and realizing that you could care less. Okay? Because then what happens is that person will grow up, and when their little one's birthday come, they could care less. And you are starting a vicious cycle, one that will repeat itself. So we have to respect the fact that little boys are human beings. They deserve to have hugs and kisses and love from their daddy. They deserve to be able to play boxing with their daddy. They deserve to play the fight game with their daddy. They deserve to learn the birds and the bees from their daddy. Because, I mean, honestly speaking, a man will sit down and have the conversation with a young boy coming of age about intercourse, and it will be much better, and mentally it's more rewarding for both the young man who's experiencing it and the father than it is to have the mother to have this conversation with the young male who's going through puberty. This is so far out of whack, and it's making, I mean, the enemy is rolling over, busting in his sides, laughing, because we have all of these different denominations that's sitting here trying to play like they are doing, you know, the Creator's will, and then they all got these women in these places that they go and they congregate and worship in, and all of these women are single women raising these boys, and none of them is saying, listen, that's not the Father's will, and we need to do it according to his will. So who's the male that's next in line to be stepping up and help raise this boy? They don't open their mouth and say nothing, but they feel like they want you to join their group. They want you to join their group. Let me tell you something. You better stay away from them Catholics. You better stay away from them Baptists. You better stay away from them Muslims. You better stay away from them seven-day evangelists. Stay away from any groups. Okay? You better get yourself somewhere and establish you a one-on-one with him, and start to learn what it is that he requires of you. Because you see, man ain't full of nothing but lies. Man ain't full of nothing but lies. If we give the boys to their fathers like things are supposed to be, little boys have a million questions. Picture this. This how it go. Check this out, you dig. The little boy talking to his mama, tell his mama, say, I like Cheryl Ann in my classroom, I like Stacy in my classroom, and I like Creasy in my classroom. Now the mama gonna tell him, you gotta pick which one of them you like. You can't be liking all three of them, calling all three of them your girlfriend, because she don't even understand the nature of the thing that she's talking to. All she sees is her baby. You know what I'm saying? A person that she needs to be trying to tell what's right and what's wrong to, according to the way a woman thinks. Now, that same little boy having a conversation with his paterfamilias. You understand me? And he say, you know, I like this little girl in my class, and that little girl in my class, and that little girl in my class. You know, the paterfamilias is gonna be like, man, I hate you, boy. Yeah, I hate you. Well, look here. This is how you handle that. You know, you tell all three of them that y'all friends. You see what I'm saying? That way, now one of them is feeling like they just that special one. You see, because men understand exactly what's going on with the young king. Okay? And we can communicate to him from the mind of a man, not the mind of a female. And so when he's in those critical ages, those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, he don't need to be asking you all them doggone questions, woman. He needs to be getting that knowledge from the pappy. You understand me? And this is where child support, family court, the attorney general, and the federal government are all in cahoots, and they got the so-called building that the people that made for you to come together in, so that all of the members of the church can come together, and different members coming in different buildings. They also in cahoots with them. That's why they won't say anything, and they just will allow they'll just sit and watch one mother come in here and have a kid by one man, and a year later, 2 years later, she having a kid by another man, and 2 or 3 years before it's all said and done, she got 4 kids by 4 different men. Nobody in the church has ever said anything. They're not going to say anything because all they want to do is keep collecting. All right, this is why you can't just join with them groups. You got to develop your one-on-one relationship. Don't trust no man. All right, they pimps, they charlatans. Okay, because if they were, then this country would be standing for his will, and his will is that the fathers raise their sons. Period. Not he ain't got time and all this other stuff. None of those other excuses was put in there. And you see, all of these men that was raised by the women, they got all of these excuses why it should continue to be done opposite of his will. Because it happened for me, my mama raised me, and I'm all right. Yeah, you titty baby, you know what I'm saying? All emotion filled and everything. And then because we don't possess all of them emotions and stuff like that, and the answers we give, they say is harsh. All right? Because I believe a man got a place, and I believe a woman got her place too. You dig? Ain't nobody playing with this, young. So look here. Now, another thing that we need in this country is we need to start making commercials promoting fathers being the primary custodial parent of the children, and the goodness of fathers being the one who have the children, not putting anything down on mothers at all. We're not going to say anything about mothers. We just need to start a strong campaign with commercials promoting fathers having custody of their children, raising their children, doing a wonderful job, dropping their children off at school, going to work, getting off work, coming home, picking their children up, and getting off work, going pick their children up from school, going home, fathers not complaining, fathers not needing food stamps and welfare and Section 8 and all this other kind of stuff, but, fathers just doing what we do, and we are the providers and protectors. And we need to start promoting fatherhood and all of the blessings and the benefits and the wonderful things that come from it. And stop demonizing it, and let's stop abusing the female and making her the primary custodial parent when we know that that's not going to make a good society. And we know that it's not the right thing to do. That's why we got to put so many incentives behind it. Because I haven't looked at it. I'm just going out on a wild gamble right here. But I'm more than sure, just from the nature of the basic nature of me being a man, that men that are single fathers that are raising their children, there are far less single fathers on food stamps and welfare than there are single mothers on food stamps and welfare. And I ain't talking about simply just because it's less single fathers than single mothers. I'm talking about when you look at the proportion and you look at it, and make it be fair, so you can honestly look at it and say, okay, it's only 10 men that's got custody of their children, whereas 100 women that's got custody of the children. But of those 10 men, only one of those men is getting food stamps and welfare, and he just filed to get off of it. You understand me? So, but then of those 100 women that got custody of their children, 75 of them are third generation food stamp, welfare and food stamp recipients. Why? Because they've been a concentrated effort doing this ever since the late 60s, 70s. So they've been practicing this all a long time. So it's generations of them in this. All right? So it's time for us to start promoting the benefits, the good things that come from fatherhood, the start promoting the facts of how we can decrease the suicide rates, how we can have a strong society, what fathers bring to the table. We need to start making Father's Day as big of a marketing thing as we do Mother's Day. Okay? And this needs to be a strong campaign, I guess, until about the year maybe 2075, you know? Because that's about the same amount of time that's been put into destroying the role of the father. If we are going to survive as a country, we are going to have to get back to doing the Father Jehovah's will. Okay? We can't be negotiating with these people with their homosexual marriage, you know, and all of these other risky things that they want to try to involve in everyday life. Now they're trying to act like it's more than male and female. Then they want to say that the boys can play in the girls' sports. And now they're going to start giving boys, girls scholarships. Come on. Can we be serious? Can we be serious? Can my daughters have a fair shot? That's all I'm asking. So let's promote more commercials promoting fatherhood, you know, and the benefits of it. Okay? And let's try to make a strong campaign saying that men are responsible for raising their own children. Let's really try and bring that awareness that men are responsible for their own children that they piss out of their nuts. I can't stress that enough. And last but not least, you know, I'm going to close up with men. Raising our children is according to his will. And anything that somebody tries to get you to do that is opposite of his will, you should be willing to fight and die for it. If somebody is trying to get you to do something that you know is against the Father Jehovah's wishes, is against what the Father Jehovah have instructed you to do, and you say that you're a God-fearing man, and you say that you are, you know, a lover of Christ, okay, then you will rebel against that and be willing to stand and fight and die for it. All right? This is an issue where they're saying either take the mark or we're going to cut your head off, or better yet, we're going to cut your kid head off in front of you if you don't take the mark. And your kid is standing there begging, oh, please don't let him kill me. Oh, please don't let him kill me. Now you know that you are charged with giving him the fear and love for the Father Jehovah and his son Christ for his sacrifice. You understand me? And so you're supposed to stand strong and let him know that you're going to be okay, all right? That this body is just a temporary thing, you know, and don't look upon it in such a bad way and allow the sacrifice to happen, okay? But you're supposed to stay strong with his will, even if that means that you watch them slaughter your child. You don't go against his will. And his will is that the father should raise the son. And with that, I close, because I don't think you can argue with it. And if you can, you know, I really don't give a damn. This show is a show of men for men, and us dealing with our issues, the things that we need to fix, the issues that we need to attack, and we don't give a fuck about what a woman thinks. Later.
Show me thy ways, O Lord. Teach me thy path. Lead me in the truth and teach me. For thou art the God of my salvation. On thee do I wait all the day. Yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Amen.
Wow! Hey, yo, the sun never shines here. Man, it's dark all the time here. No law, justice is blind here. It's just criminals and crime here. Evil